Have you ever hidden money so well that even you never saw it again? I'm talking, I'll put this in a safe place. Kind of like, congratulations, you've just donated to future archaeologists of 3026. Today I'm pulling back the curtain on one of the most fascinating, surprising, and honestly, occasionally shocking side hustles I've ever had as a personal organizer for hoarders. And listen, this is not what you see on TV. This is real life. Real homes, real people, real stories, and real lessons that will make you laugh, think, and maybe side-eye that closet you've been ignoring since 2024. By the end of this video, you're going to see your stuff in a whole new light, a completely different way. And number 7? That one is wild. But before we dive in, if you love real life lessons, practical tips, and a little humor along with your reality checks, hit that subscribe button. I post videos like this every week, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Alright, let's get into it. Lesson number 1, and honestly one of the most ironic things I have ever seen. If you stash your cash in sneaky places, you may have just permanently hidden it from yourself. I am not kidding. I have found money in the strangest places. Inside books, under carpets, taped to the back of drawers, inside old cereal boxes. And here's the kicker. In many cases, the homeowner has zero idea any of it was even there. There's actually research showing that memory recall decreases significantly when items are not stored using a consistent system. One study found people were 40% less likely to find something they placed if it's hidden creatively instead of logically. So yeah, that's a genius hiding spot you've got right there. But it might as well be a black hole. And here's the unfortunate truth. If you can't find it when you need it, it's basically gone, right? So the next time you think, oh, I'll just tuck this away someplace safe, maybe don't go full secret agent mode. And if you think losing money is bad, wait until you hear what happens to fabrics and linens over time. We all have that pile, clothes we might wear again, if we happen to ever fit them again. Towels from a different era of our lives, the ones we might need someday. But here's the reality. Linens and fabrics don't age like fine wine. They age like forgotten leftovers. Over time, textiles absorb moisture, odors, and dust. According to textile preservation experts, fabric stored in poor condition can begin to degrade within just a few years, developing mold and mildew and attracting insects like carpet beetles. And yes, rodents love it too. Soft, warm, undisturbed. That's basically a 5-star hotel. I've opened bins that look totally fine on the outside, but the inside, well, a musty, crumbling mess nobody would ever wear again. So if it's been in storage for years, chances are it's not gonna make the comeback tour. Now, speaking of things people like to store, there's a surprisingly strong overlap between hoarders and doomsday prepping. I bet you didn't see this twist coming. Both involve storing large quantities of supplies just in case. And both often include very specific items, like dried onion flakes. I don't know why. I don't make the rules. But here's the interesting part. Psychologists have found that both behaviors can actually stem from the same desire to be able to control uncertain situations. Stockpiling creates a sense of security. even if the actual usefulness of the items is completely questionable. And while being prepared is certainly smart, there's a tipping point where preparation turns into overwhelming over-accumulation. If your pantry looks like it could sustain a small village for 5 years, might be time to reassess. And that brings us to something even more emotional. The stuff we hold on to because of its link to memories. This one hits deep. All those souvenirs, keepsakes, and little treasures, they mean something to you. But here's the hard truth. To your family, they're just objects. Studies on inheritance and estate cleaning show that most items are discarded within a few months after someone passes. Not out of disrespect, but because the emotional connection to that item, it's just not the same. What makes that item valuable isn't the actual item, it's the memory attached to it. So instead of keeping boxes and boxes of things, just consider capturing the memory instead. Photos, digital albums, a curated photo book perhaps? Same meaning, way less clutter. And ultimately way less stress for the people you love. Now let's talk about something that quietly takes over people's homes. Paper is sneaky. It starts small. A bill here, a receipt there, a document you might need someday, and suddenly, you've got stacks. Here's the thing, paper accumulates really fast. The average household receives thousands of pages of paper annually, and most of it never gets used again. And like fabrics, paper is also a magnet for pests and mold, especially in damp environments. I've seen entire rooms, floor to ceiling, of paper no one has touched in years. And finding one document in there, nearly impossible. So here's a simple rule. If it's important, you can scan it. Digital storage is searchable, space-saving, and far less appealing to rodents. Keep only what truly matters and limit it to what fits in a fireproof safe. Your future self will thank you. And speaking about your future self, let's talk about something people don't like to think about or talk about, but absolutely should. Everything you keep, someone else will eventually have to deal with. And that someone is usually your loved ones. Clearing out a home filled with belongings isn't just physically exhausting. It's emotionally draining. Grief experts note that overwhelming environments can intensify stress and even prolong the grieving process. Instead of remembering you, they're sorting, deciding, and often feeling guilty about letting your former things go. That's a heavy burden. So one of the kindest things you can do for your family is lighten the load now. Now, if you think clutter is just inconvenient and nothing more, let me paint you a picture. 6-foot-high piles, narrow pathways, what we call goat trails, through rooms, and stacks that are at best unstable. Stuff avalanches are a real thing, and they're dangerous. Items shift, piles collapse, people get hurt. In some cases, emergency responders can't even access the injured person in distress because the home is too cluttered. And in emergencies, seconds really matter. So this isn't just about organization, it's actually about safety too. And finally, when belongings pile up and they stay untouched, they hide problems. serious problems. Water damage, mold, structural issues. Home maintenance studies show that early detection of issues can reduce the repair costs up to 70%. But if you can't see the problem, you sure can't fix it. I've seen homes where small issues turned into massive repairs and have even condemned houses, all because they were hidden behind piles of accumulated stuff. So ask yourself, is that box in the basement worth dealing with now? Or a much bigger problem later? At the end of the day, this side hustle has taught me something simple but powerful. Your stuff, it should serve you, not the other way around. And sometimes letting go is actually gaining control. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and check out the video coming up next. If you liked this one, you're going to love that one too. I'll see you there.